It's so ridiculous and off the wall that I just feel like, you don't really know what you're doing, do you? And you'll come across, if you try to take a lot of acting classes, you'll come across a lot of teachers that they really know nothing. And if you feel like that, get out, because you don't need to be
there. Who, voice acting wise, are some of your bigger inspirations historically? Who are some of the people who you feel like, I want to do that?
Mel Blanc. When I found out that Mel Blanc did all of those voices on Looney Tunes. And then that sort of led me to look at like people like Dan Castellaneta, Hank Azaria, The Simpsons, and that whole era. I was starting to be very much interested in when The Simpsons was really big and new.
I basically want to be Tabitha St. Germain when I grow up. I think she's brilliant and the best in Vancouver. I just, whenever I'm in the studio with her, I'm like, okay, just watch what she's doing. One day you will be like her. Yeah. So, yeah, she's got that thing that she has amazing technical skill, but she has something beyond the technical skill that I don't even think can be taught. So, just kind of trying to suck out her life force every time I get. That's my plan. Next question.
All right, so this is actually a pretty quick question. I was just wondering if either of you guys have been asked back for season 5 yet.
Next question.
I just wanted to ask, Peter, I know you sound like you've done improv. Kelly, have you guys ever done improv, and what was your experience with it?
I did improv in high school. I think there's an element of improv for great actors, but it's fun, it's hard. It gets your imagination muscles running. You could take one.
I did do some improv. I mostly did sketch comedy. I rather liked the writing aspect of it as well. I sort of feel like there's a continuity between writing the words and then performing the words. So I gravitated towards sketch comedy, which is a rigidly written form that appears like improv. Although I did do improv as well, so I don't know. They're both fun. At the back.
What was your first run-in with the Brony community and your initial reaction to it?
Okay. My very, very first run-in with the Brony community, I sort of knew vaguely that Bronies were a thing. Like, my Facebook fan page had exploded. I'd seen like a bunch of R34, and I was like, what is going on with all this? And when I say a bunch, I mean like one thing, but like, it felt like a bunch, like really. So I had an audition down at Dick and Rogers, which is the studio where we record the show. And there's like this just tiny little lobby where the elevators are to go up, and it's all glass doors. So I come up to the glass doors, and there's a group of people inside. It's usually dead empty. There's a group of people inside, and one of them turns around and goes, and I just see his lips going, but it's like, oh my God, I think there's people there. I could totally tell that's what he was saying. And I buzz in, and they let me in, and immediately they start talking to me. I have no idea what to do or how to take it. So I'm like, plus I'm really nervous because I have an audition, right? So, and then I get in the elevator to go up, and I'm like, wow, what just happened? But one of them gets on the elevator with me, and she's holding like all of this stuff, and I really don't know how to deal with her. And I'm like, what's going on? And she says to me, just some people, it's my birthday, so some people came. I'm like, okay, well, happy birthday. And she says to me, well, I work on the show. I'm like, oh, I work on the show. Then we go, to the Sipsy, turns out. So some guys from the local community came down to give her a birthday card, and then we rode in the elevator. That's how we met, Sydney and I. So you guys brought us together, me and Sipsy. And then subsequent to that, it was like that was sort of the moment where I went, okay, that didn't, like I was the weird one in that situation. Like they were just trying to say hello, and I was being like, so maybe I'm the guy that has to figure out, like, can I actually navigate this without being a total weirdo? And I hope I'm doing a decent job of that, because I really like everybody that I meet here, so you guys are amazing.
And it's so special. My first experience was after the Wonderbolts Academy came out, and I didn't even know it had come out, but I just looked at my Gmail and it was like, you got 50 new followers on Twitter. I was like, why does anyone care today? And then it's like, oh, the bronies, they found me. And then so I was like, okay, well, let's see what this is. And then, of course, the first Tumblr I stumbled upon is Spitfire Sexy, and I was like, oh! I was like, I don't feel comfortable right now. But then, as we get to know you, and as I had contact on Twitter with everybody, it's been great, and I love you guys, and it's such a wonderful community, and I'm so glad that you found this show and that it has brought something to your lives and to our lives. Like, this was an unexpected turn, and we really couldn't have predicted, but it's pretty fun and pretty cool. Yeah. It's just kind of fulfilling my Star Trek fantasies, like you guys are like the new Trekkies, and I'm like, pretend I'm like Counselor Deanna Troy or something, right? I'm like Deanna Troy of My Little Pony, right?
I think of you more as a Dr. Crusher, really. More like Dr. Crusher. Right? But she chickened out. She was like, season 2, I'm done. I don't want to be part of this. Tasha Yar. Whatever. I'll be cute. Yeah. Well, the problem is we have John Delancey, who's playing basically Q as Discord. Yes. Yeah.
Hi, I want to thank you guys for coming because this is my very first convention.
Hey!
And my question is, what was your favorite voice acting role?
That's a really hard question to answer because so many of them are so much fun to do. I think for me, ultimately, it has to be Sunil and Lila's Pet Shop. No, thank you. And it's not just because Sunil is fun to play, and he is, but because that opportunity gives me so many other opportunities to play so many other parts on that show. That it just becomes like a voice actor paradise, that entire experience. It's great fun for me.
My favorite would be Nia on Ninjago, which is my main show right now. And in the beginning, in the first season, she was always the girl who got kidnapped, and the boys had to rescue her, or she got left behind while the boys went on adventures. So to see how the writers have taken that character and actually made the girl in the show do something interesting has been really fun for me. But the weirdest job I ever had was on dubbing anime. I don't even know what show it was. I had to do the sound of a geisha robot being shot through the head. And I was like, this is my life! Okay. It was like something like, oh! That's it.
The weirdest one for me was, I think, probably the hair demon on Inuyasha, which amazingly recurred, which was basically a giant ball of hair, sometimes with eyes and sometimes with a mouth. And it just basically went. Because that's really how I felt. Like a hair demon.
Seeing as Bronies love to talk about what we like to watch as children, what did you guys like when you were kids? Woo!
I watched cartoons for a long time, but then my whole kind of cartoon watching experience is kind of a blur. So I liked a lot of the Looney Tunes, obviously. I enjoyed some Hanna-Barbera stuff. I watched like Rocket Robin Hood and Hercules. Hey, Herc! You know, and all that, which most of you won't have any kind of resonance with. And then later, I was still watching cartoons when The Simpsons began and Futurama and all, and I just keep watching them.
I watched a lot of Animaniacs. Sailor Moon, because my brother watched it. I love Sailor Moon, and yeah, I think that the woman who plays Sailor Moon is really good. It's coming back. Does the original or a new one? Okay, well, I hope they cast someone who can do what she can do. Or me. I think that's being recorded in Vancouver. I haven't heard of it. Yeah. Right now I like Adventure Time.
Right now, I like Archer.
So I have a question for each of you. Kelly, you did an interview with one of my friends last year, and he asked you what you think Spitfire would do if she quit being a Wonderbolt. And your answer was, you said she'd become a doctor?
I was just riffing, you know. I'm just playing what I call the imagination game. Yeah. So,
Nothing behind that?
nothing behind that except in the moment I was like, and then that's what came out of my mouth, which is kind of the story of my life.
And Peter, whenever you read the lines for Hearts and Hoops Day, you know, all the movie, whatever, were you like, what am I reading? Do I really have to do this?
No, I was excited to do it. The biggest problem I had with all of that was I had just recently discovered all of you. And up until that point, I was quite comfortable in my role as stalwart, quietly wise, monosyllabic pony. And then all of a sudden I had to be excitable, lovesick, yet still the same pony. And so it's a lot of, I think, what you were facing with Spitfire was like, how do I do this, remain true to the character that I've already established, and then still do it in a way that all of you are going to go, awesome! Because I was feeling a lot of pressure knowing that there was actually a group of fans out there to do a really good job. I hope I did.